Dawn of War Definitive Edition is not worth getting. You see these trailers, they're not so different. And if you look at the Definitive Edition trailer, where you're just like, wow, it looks a little bit more crispier, it looks a little more highly definition. Let me tell you, there was a guy that already did that, and he did it with AI 4 years ago. And if you even compare the Definitive Edition with the AI video, it makes no difference. It makes you consider that, maybe they might have used AI to make it look more specific. Like a game that is just a tad smoother on coding and gameplay, and it has like high quality graphics, as in like high quality textures that is being laid over a decade old fucking models, and just fixing some of the problems. That is not a remaster. And because that is not a remaster, all these things that people list that could have been done in the original, that would have just been a little bit updated, where it's just like, okay, it's from 2004, and maybe fix a little bit of bugs here and there, so, just makes it a little bit more easier. Because remember, this is 2025, there's a thing like live service and etc., so they could have just fixed the old games. And they still exist on Steam. Like, a remaster by definition is usually keep everything the same, but, smoothing things out. But also greatly enhance the game that what it used to be from 10 years ago or 2 decades ago. And that usually comes with smoothing the code a bit, make the gameplay a little bit, less janky and all that, make the maps a little bit more playable, and also greatly enhancing the audio. Sometimes they do that, or they're keeping the audio the same, just for nostalgia reasons. Or they just greatly enhance the 3D models and the textures along with it to complement with each other, that you look at it, you're like, wow, okay, this is a modern game. And the good examples that I've been bringing up over and over again when I've been talking about like the Space Marine 1 remaster is Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remaster. You can see that night and day in between them. There's a massive difference in between. And then you look at Gears of War. There's a massive difference in between them. And they're both remasters. And the third and the last, that is clearly a fucking remaster, is Rome Total War. Night and day. You can see the differences when it comes to visuals. And by the way, it's not just visuals. I played shit ton of Rome Total War, and honestly, it's not even a big issue. And obviously, it might be a dick move that they remove the old Rome Total War, but hey, in the fucking Rome Total War game, they're like, hey, you want to play the classic like it used to be like years ago, with all its jank and all that? You can do that, and it's in the settings. So it's not a big deal for me, really. So what I'm saying here, when it comes to like Dawn of War Remaster, remasters do more than just put a new HD texture over a decade-old model. Like, they should be enhancing everything like it's a modern game, as in today's age. Like, let's give an example. The Space Marine 1 remaster that I've been talking about lately should have had Space Marine 2 graphics. So naturally, when you see Dawn of War Remaster, and I know some people will get PTSD from this, but for the sake of visuals, right? It could have had Dawn of War 3 visuals, at least, or something more than just Dawn of War 3 visuals. I hope you get what I mean. This is unacceptable. There's no excuse for that. It's just, alright, we'll just update the textures, and you're not even gonna bother upgrading the 3D models? Make it look like, at today's game, this is not a remaster. Like, this is a game that discovered there was a 64-bit and then just bigger resolutions. And just discovered that, and could have just updated that the year later. I'm just saying. Like, remasters should give you a reason why you should get the game. And if the game is just smoothing the code, getting the gameplay a little bit smoother, and just bigger resolutions, and make the textures more HD, that didn't even bother, like, upgrading the fucking 3D models, then all that, right? Why couldn't you do that in the original? All these things that people say and all that could have honestly just done it in the original. And by the way, they're still doing patch notes, fixing bugs and all that. That shouldn't be a thing. Remasters usually tends to be like, there's some known issues that happens in the game, those should be fixed, and everything should be the same. There shouldn't be problems on a remaster. And I would say, in an ideal situation, doing that in the OG would have been much more better, but of course, they had to pretend that to say, oh, this new game is a remaster. How else would they possibly get money from you, am I right? Now, the positive that I can give is that the 30% permanent discount, and then to give that extra 10% discount on top of it, if it wasn't there, then people would get emotional, and then they'll have a much more justifiable reason why they shouldn't even buy in the game in the first place when everything is just the exact same thing. Just like fucking Space Marine 1 Remaster, which, Whoo, boy. Unless you never bought Dawn of War 1 and before that, then sucks to be you. Now, in my personal opinion, I think they should have gave that shit for free for those who already have the Dawn of War 1 game, because I am a fucking dick, so might as well just mention that. Anyways, back to where I was going. Like, why would you get a game that is exactly the same in every way, even graphically, when you can just go and get the Anniversary Edition that is still available on the Steam market? Dawn of War Definitive Edition is not a remaster. And just in case for those who would argue otherwise, it doesn't say specifics that it says, we are claiming to be a remaster. But those trailers and what they claim to do fits in the description of what a remaster is, but this game, from what they're claiming, is not a remaster. Like, please tell me, by watching this video, is there any drastic difference between these two in the Dawn of War and Dawn of War Definitive Edition? Now compare something like Modern Warfare Remaster. One speaks night and day, and the other doesn't speak jack shit. Like, as I just said with Space Marine 1 Remaster, you just needed to put some glasses on, and boom, it's fucking better now. Oh, it's so blurry right now. Let me just put my glasses on like Peter Parker from the first Spider-Man movie. Oh, everything's better now. Wow! That is the best analogy that I can bring up when it comes to Dawn of War Definitive Edition. And I do understand some people who got that veteran discount. Now, please understand, for those who never got Dawn of War in the first place, why should they spend about $39 to $40 if it was not on sale on a remaster that it looks exactly the same when they could have gone straight to the Anniversary Edition, which on sale right now is $17, but it's like around 20-ish if I recall, unless I have to correct myself in the editing video section. So that's what I mean. I do understand, for multiple reasons, people will buy this game. And some of them are a little bit dumb than others, like, oh, I never played the OG, and somehow this game is better than the OG. Huh? It's shit like that. Like, honestly, this game, I will say it will be a little bit successful by looking at the reviews that are putting it out. So, it is no surprise people saw the game, immediately thought it was the best of the best because it had a logo and is just barely any different. I'm just saying, Anniversary Edition is so much cheaper, it's available on Steam right now, and boom, you play the game. And it gives you zero reasons to go play the remaster version. And from what I've seen from the negative reviews, a lot of people have some interesting problems when it comes to the game that they still haven't fixed from the OG. So, unless you're just like, what, autistic and can't deal with the minor details that bothers you so much in the slightest, then yeah, go for it, fam. Yeah, just waste all your money on a remaster that barely looks any different when you could have just get the Anniversary Edition, straight play the fucking Soulstorm, and that's already an improvement. Shocking. I'll say this. If the so-called Dawn of War Remaster did much more on the graphical level, just to give like a whole modern experience of what a modern game can be or what can achieve, then I would have had an issue, because it fits the description of what a remaster is. Of course, with some areas like smoothing code and everything much better experience, which they're already done. Because remember, the whole idea of a remaster is grabbing an old game that is like about a decade or 2 decades old and just updating it to the modern game as to today. Like, what's so modern of Dawn of War Definitive Remaster that looks like this and it has zero changes? They could have just updated the 3D models, and then they had the HD textures they could have complemented with each other. Obviously, smoothing the code a bit, fix the fucking problems, and not patching the problems after you just released it. They could have just fixed some of the issues that had with multiplayer, keeping the army painter as it is, and etc. More and more and more issues that I can just list down and all that. Like, that is what a remaster is. And you're telling me you couldn't even do the fucking effort to update the 3D models and just have a complementary HD textures? Really? Remaster my ass. And also, if the so-called remaster was like $5, honestly, I would have been like, fuck it, why not? Because honestly, I don't lose much from it, and I'll just review the game and still shit on it, as I wouldn't normally do. Now, with something that is nearly 30 Australian dollars and has a permanent veteran discount, yeah, no, I'm good. A man's gotta eat, and I ain't that rich. So yeah, just to wrap it up in conclusion, and I do understand that Dawn of War was one of the most beloved games that everybody enjoyed and had multiple fun experiences, especially in multiplayer. And I had them, some of myself. But remember, the whole point that I'm making this video in the end is about like, why would you buy another game that is exactly the same, but it's much more expensive, and they didn't even bother doing much to the fucking visuals. Because it's about the price, and the product they're putting out doesn't even justify the reasons. And even if it's a veteran-like discount and all that, even though it's a little bit generous, because I'm a dick, I would just say, just give it for free. Nah, I don't give a shit. Give it for free. If you were that generous, man, give that shit for free. And anybody who didn't have it, they must buy it. GG easy. Makes me feel special. Hoorah. But as of right now, as I'm making this video, as Dawn of War 4 trailer just released and all that, and I already did a video about that one, yeah, I just don't see the reason behind it of, yeah, no, let's go get Definitive Edition, even though it's not a fucking remaster. I just think it's a whole joke. So yeah, I might as well just stick with the original that most people have, and just play the games in private and all that, and I don't think I will lose a fucking sleep over it. But in the end, do whatever you with your money, have fun with it, and if you want to waste it, go for it and waste it. I'm gonna be the one on the golden throne laughing. Anyways, I'll leave it in this video. Now, remember to check my socials and donations, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, my brothers, and take care.